Our guest should be with us hopefully in a few minutes. So I don't know if you understand what I'm saying.
Definitely, I do.
Right.
So you said selling solution instead of telling stories.
No, don't tell stories. Be
Just
solution
sell solutions.
oriented.
Okay.
Solution oriented. And one way to be solution oriented is to actually tell the people what you're able to use those tools for in the past. That's number one. And number two, actually not just show, but present to them the opportunity to do their own personal, you know what? Let's click on this link. And then the link will take them to, okay, yeah, that's true. He actually or she actually did this, the company did. Yeah, and you mentioned the name of the company. And for those of you who enrolled for any of our courses, yeah, you mentioned that health tech is you've done projects with them. You're able to do this and do this. You provided solutions to this problem, blah blah blah. And then they come online, they type the health tech is, and they're these guys are actually here, you know. So you keep them busy. You see, some people are so good at data analysis. You look at your CV and under the skills section, you go there and what they put is good with SQL Server, good with Microsoft, good with, I mean, that's so bland. You are absolutely doing nothing different.
Okay.
Yeah, good with when you put skills like good with SQL, you should be able to mention projects you've been able to, like, kind of bullet point stuff. Put projects,
Understand.
SQL projects, you list them. You put hyperlinks, you put the link of, the name of the place. Get your CV busy and engaged.
Okay, so please, last question, maybe or maybe not. So you linking them up to the project you have done. So what kind of project do you think one could have done with Excel? Maybe, for example, of course, in your organization, you're analyzing data, basically, or you help sometime, like one thing I did, I was to do, what's it called, leave tracker for HR department. So how do you, I mean, is that one a good project for you to say, okay, I've done this project? Because when you're looking at project, I'm thinking of something very big, like that is what I am assuming, assumption though, that you've done something big that they need to see, oh, wow, you created this and they are using it, it's functioning in a particular company is using it for certain, to achieve certain objective and the rest of it. So that is what I always assume. So maybe you can, throw more light on
So
what.
let me show you. Okay, let me just open one of these. This one was my Excel project this years back. I want you to just look at. Why is it not loading? Is it type down or what? Can you see my screen?
Yes,
I hope it's
please.
not. Yeah,
I
if
can.
you can hear me, that means my network is.
Your network is here. It's bad.
Yeah, but maybe the site is down. I don't know. It's not. It's not. Yeah, the site is down. I think if that is the case, let me open something.
But I'm seeing it now.
Excel project. Oh no. This is. Wait a minute. All right. Sorry, I disconnected and I didn't know. Sorry, guys. Right, connected to- can you see my screen?
Yes, we can.
Yeah.
Okay, so for this particular November cohort, those of you that are enrolled, we are working on having a competition. I think maybe what is a couple of thousand, maybe 20, 30, 40, or 50,000. We want to see students who are creative in projects, and this is to enable them to actually get creative, about it. So I want you to go online and check for sample Excel projects. Let me type. Yeah, check sample Excel project. You probably get the same thing. So, and you have 15 fun Excel project ideas you can try. So, for instance, if you are working with the HR company, I want us to look at the screen. Which of these projects do you think you can try to submit as a sample project when you go for an interview for a human resource company? Look at this. Attendance tracking,
project, yes.
to-do list. Which of these would you submit for HR?
Attendance tracking projects.
Exactly, right?
Yes.
Now, if you are going to be working for, if the company you hope to work with, if they are into game development, which projects would you be looking at submitting to them?
Creating,
of course, game.
so those two process, yes.
Yeah, game development and creating Sudoku puzzles, making web games. So you likely want to, let me go online and look for the data set and then create something like this. So if you want to work with a gaming company, you shouldn't send them a project maybe from your past place of work. But if you can create a new project that is going to meet their standard, or they are going to say, you know what, this person have done something like this in the past. Let's give him or her a try. And that works. So my point is this, Blessing. You should try as much as you can. Okay, I think our host is here. You should try as much as you can to make sure that the projects you are working on are relevant to certain companies, and you make them kind of, each person knows what he or she is doing. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, it's a pleasure to welcome our host. And Mr. Oluwaseyi, I'm so happy that you're able to make it. Thank you so much.
Sorry, can you hear me?
I think
Sorry
there's
for
a buffer in here.
yeah.
Yeah.
I was caught up.
Sorry, you can unmute. For those who are speaking, please just unmute yourself so we can get our host on board.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes, I can.
Okay. I said I got stuck with the process, getting out, asking for vaccine ticket, vaccine this. So it took some time before I could. And couple up with the blockage of Oshu via the airports. So I'm very sorry for coming late. It's not my usual practice.
Yeah, thank you very much. Normally, we are supposed to just pray that you should rest for today and just forget about the section. But the fact that you agreed to still come on board, we really appreciate you for this. It means so much for our community, and for looking at your profile, someone knows that you are really passionate about technology in Africa. So thank you very much, sir.
Okay.
Okay, so for those who are joining us, I am going to briefly read our guest profile, and we hope that those who are just coming back from work in the United States, this is actually lunchtime, so people are still trying to rush about their lunch, and West African time, people are going back from work around this time. In the past, we've had over 100 persons on interview sections like this, but our students, because they were really, really passionate about listening to you, they decided to stay. More than half of them were here since 12 noon or since 6 p.m. And so this section is being recorded because we're going to push it out to all our channels. And we want people to know the amazing things you've been doing and how you've been doing it, and a word of inspiration and motivation to those who are even new to tech, per se, and those who have been in the system for a while. So, ladies and gentlemen, our host is Oluwaseyi Oluwawumiju. I hope I
Wow,
got that
tongue
right.
twist. It's tongue twisting.
Sorry.
It's
He's
really
a
tongue twisting.
technical He's a technical consultant at Convenant Technologies, as well as a former manager of data and AI of Wragby Business Solution and Technologies Limited and ILF Engineers Limited, IT's department. In Lagos, Nigeria, Convenant Technologies is a Microsoft certified partner. He has over 20 years of experience working as a senior consulting partner for Convenant Technologies on Microsoft infrastructure, and is also a fellow of the Institute of Information Management Africa, one of the highest honors for data management. Seyi was a senior technical consultant and support manager for First Intellit Solution prior to joining Convenant Technologies, where he oversaw the expansion of the outsourced team and new client systems. He saw the need to hone his traditional product knowledge skills in, give me a minute. He saw the need to hone his traditional product knowledge skills in light of changing IT market in Africa and the need to keep up with the changing times. It is sufficient to say that his main business interest in WECA is in advocating for SharePoint, M365, Azure, and AI strictly from a value point of view in medium and large organizations. The response and potential from the Nigerian market, for example, is without a doubt a boost to his business outlook in Africa. So, ladies and gentlemen, it's a pleasure to welcome Mr. Seyi, if I can call you that, sir, to
Yeah. Yeah, thank you very much, David, and thank you everyone that still waited to hear my story. And it's a pleasure to be here. It's a pleasure to be part of this honorable initiative that you had in order to boost and increase the knowledge gap of all, especially pointed at Africa. So I'm grateful and I'm honored to be here. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir. I did come across one video you made during the MCT conference in Abuja, and that was what really kind of got me attracted. And I said, you know what, look for this man and let's try to see how we can bring a bit of him to our community. So you were part of those who organized this amazing conference. And what key lessons did you learn from that conference and the planning? And maybe you just generally tell us something about Microsoft in Africa or the influence of Microsoft in Africa.
Okay. It's really a long story, and it's built on passion, because actually my background is from I read electronics engineering, but at school then I had this passion for computing. I just want to understand what computer is, what they use it for, and at that time, I saw a gap, especially when it comes to the high level of people that understand computing and the low level of people that are coming in. The gap is that the people up there keep the knowledge to themselves. It's as if they hold on to that knowledge, and they feel that if you have that knowledge, you can always be in front of every customer, every place you are, and they hoard it. And that was what I saw in college, because I have to go to apprenticeship because it was not my core area. I have to go there in order to get into computing. So that story is my propeller for launching into Microsoft and trying to see how I can make a change, especially when it comes to the context of Africa. The MCT conference that you mentioned was a way, because I started off after getting into technology, I also started off trying to build my capacity, because where I first worked, I worked as in the stock exchange. I worked in one of the research firms. It built my capacity in knowing that you need to research. Research is endless. And in order to be on top of whatever you are doing, you must make sure that you have enough information to build your capacity around that. And that was what propelled me into training. Because I need to build capacity. If I'm going to be a consultant, if I'm going to be an engineer, I must be able to know what it takes to give this out. Because that was what I experienced. People audit. I have to pay for it because I have to carry computer. I have to do boy for my HOD in order to learn computing, because it is a lot of things that was in my memory, and it goes back a long way. I said, no, that culture, at least in my own area, in my own network, I want to cut that culture off. And that was why I ventured into training. I have to travel to the US to because MCT is Microsoft Certified Trainers, and there are some criteria that you need to have. And one of those criteria is that you have to be in front of some board of trainers. You have to present. They have to score you, apart from your certification as a Microsoft professional. So one of the criteria you have to have, that you have to have your certification. 2, you have to have what we call train the trainer, which enhance your skill in training, knowing the knowledge of Microsoft product and being able to deliver it to the contents of the product and to the organizer or the people you're talking to. So all this combined together brought about a passion that drove me, and that one of the events is what came about in the my passion drive. And I also walk around people like Kazeem Adegboyega and Deji Folarin Jumoke. Jumoke is now the CTO of Hashem. Kazeem is now the MD of Icon. Deji is MD. So everybody is now, you can see that passion drove us in each of our individual career path to build our capacity into starting up things that can make changes to the context of our environment and the context of Africa.
Yeah. Thank you very much. And that directly takes me to how beneficial is being a Microsoft certified trainer or affiliated with Microsoft, because some persons here would want to know.
Now, the truth is that we are in the digital era, and a lot of things is playing out. A lot of players are strongly competing for Africa. Now, AWS, Google, and the rest. And Google have been here for a long time, but Microsoft has a footprint in all our memory. And that footprint is Windows, Office. And for Africa, that is, for Americans now, generally the context of America, you see there's a competition between Amazon and Microsoft, because all the Mac series are something they got up. But for us in Africa, Windows was what we were born with, we are thrown into. And that means Microsoft have a firm grip. So for you now, the impact now is that for your career, if you go into the training section of it, be able to be a master of the product because it's product specific. It can be on Azure, it can be on M365, it can be on Power Platform, it can be on Power BI, Business Insight, etc., or even SQL Server, the storage aspect, and the cloud generally. So once you have that skill, it can be a career path. It can be income flow for you because they pay them averagely. They pay per day, and that can be something you can venture in. And with the COVID-19 era and post-COVID-19, everybody is a potential. The competition is very severe now. Anybody in the world can compete with you. So American cannot say I can train only Americans. British cannot say that people from Africa can. If you are good and you have the skill and you have the devices that you can use, you can train anybody anywhere and you get the same pay. So the income stream is now very realistic for us because when we started our community, especially the training community, we noticed that the value of trainers is not really appreciated. Why? Nigeria is Nigeria, generally Africa. I'm using Nigeria as my focus because that's where I live and all my experience is built around that. I know the same thing happened in Ghana because our tentacle has gone beyond Nigeria now. We're talking of Ghana, we're talking of Togo, we are talking of Gambia now. We are trying to stretch forth our community across it. But we notice one thing fundamental here is that because of our vast talent, some people might not really go to the core of the school or have any certificate. But when they train this course, you wonder because they have been used to using the operating system, using the products. They can talk about it. And that's where we are unique as Africa. So we now be able to bring the brand up and say, okay, this brand requires professionalism. And that professionalism brings about a lot of things in terms of money, in terms of career path, and in terms of stability for you as an IT person. I hope I didn't stretch too much out of context.
Yeah. Because I
content everywhere, anyhow.
I'm actually Microsoft certified trainer.
Okay.
I remember when I first wrote my exam, I must tell you, I failed woefully. I failed. When I got the email, I had to now reach out to a close friend who's been Microsoft certified for years. Then I told him, man, I'm afraid of failing the second time. So let me put in the work now. And then I became the Microsoft associate in Power BI. And then I had to apply to be a trainer. And then thank goodness it came true. So I know that a lot of people may say, I don't want to write that exam, I will fail, or something like that.
No.
I want to tell people like
how many times I've failed. Now, one thing about Microsoft exam is that now they started with making it product specific. Now they are making it role-based specific. They believe that you have been doing that. And because you are doing it, you now bring scenario. But those scenario is trickish. It might not be something you can get from the context of the book. It's context of understanding what you have been doing, and with that, you'll be able to answer those questions correctly. With I think your experience similar with myself. There's some exam I failed 2 times before I pass it, and that does not mean that I didn't pass it. I passed it, and I haven't. So it's when you are tenacious about what you want and you keep it on, and it will come up to pass.
Thank you very much, and that's a brilliant encouragement. I got that from a friend, and it's good to have that coming from you. Let's look at the potentials of AI in Africa. Most persons have absolutely no knowledge of what this could be.
Yeah, well, AI is we're still in the building blocks, but it has advanced. When it's, if you look at what we have been doing with AI now, some banking have started using AI for some of the model they are using. We are familiar with UBA. UBA started with what we call Leo. which they bought, you can converse with, you can talk with.
Yeah.
Then Diamond Bank is now Access Bank now, came up with, I think, ADA. Now, all those phenomena shows us that changes is gradually moving, and it has advanced beyond what we know. Look at what is happening in Kenya. A lot of infrastructure is now built because Kenya was once, say when West Africa took over Nigeria, was one of the hub of technology then, especially when it was software development. South Africa, we always consider Africa as is white dominated area. So when we talk of black, we always say whites. The truth is that they are also African, and because they have the infrastructure, they have consistent government, and they have all those things in place for them, it makes it very easy for them to onboard technology and the likes. But for some part of Africa, like what we are seeing, even Rwanda, they are using a lot of AI solution in their renewable energy. You know, they are building up a lot of infrastructure. They are changing a lot of things in Rwanda. If you go to their technological shifts on the past 7 years now, you can see a lot of changes that is coming to Rwanda. Rwanda is now coming at the hub. Mauritius now, Mauritius, very simple, very small, but go and look at the technology drive there, especially in terms of their tourism. A lot of things they are using to build, people coming in, using for getting them onboarded, their flight ticket. So AI is no more like a tail. Like then for us, it's just like, what are these people saying? They're saying someone is going to replace us. People are now adopting it from the banking sector to the oil sector, especially in Nigeria. It's cutting across. Now, Microsoft is doing a drift now. Now, the core AI understanding is like science fiction, robotic, Wesley Snipes, carrying gun, and the rest. But all these things is changing. Microsoft is bringing into your PowerPoints. Where you want to put presentation, it can give you a lot of background environment. You can input voice. Now, what is also doing the same thing, and you can see also extending to Teams. Now, showing us that AI is not just a concept or something that is just programmer that will sit down. And Microsoft now injected what we call Power Platform. Power Platform, we say low code, no code. I don't have to be a programmer 100% be able to do that. I just need to know how to know what I want, put the process in there, and the solution infrastructure will build it for me. So we can see now the onboardment of people, the changes that is occurring is now rapid. We have not reached there. Now, for me, I drive community, especially when it comes to grassroots community. Now, I believe talent, most talent are there because I use my experience core. I was from the grassroots. I took this challenge. There's a lot of people, they might not be exposed. They are out there in Africa and they are very good. All we need to do onboard them, give them the platform, and they'll be able to strive. So I am looking for a day in Oshodi that they can do a solution that can make them to cope a lot of things. I'm looking at places like Iyo, where they will have a street light that is synchronized into their CCTV system. That is my drive. That's why I'm pushing for this community drive in order to make change. We have just started, and I know we're going to there.
Let me meet this person. Sorry. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
This thing you just said now about the potentials of AI in Africa, perhaps those who have not traveled out of their country, especially the third world or low-income background, as we say, may not really understand how the use of technology, artificial intelligence, can actually make life so easy.
Yes.
I was one of my friends who recently went to the United States. He told me when he went there, he actually broke one of the laws, traffic laws, because imagine driving to the red light. You're supposed to stop for goodness sake. But the guy was like, nobody there, yeah. Just The guy drove past, the ending of that month, he was very surprised that they sent him an email.
Because he get in his box.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And nobody told him that, look, whether there is somebody there or not, when it is red.
Yes.
And I also experienced the same thing when I was driving around New Jersey, Newark, and when I was driving around Dallas, downtown Dallas. There are some places you go to, the toll gates. There is no human being there, right? So like what you see in Lagos and in some places, they'll go, wind down, wind down. They'll collect 200 or collect 500. No, no.
Mhm.
There are sensors. Some persons are so smart, they don't want to waste time, or they want to track the way their credit system is going down or something. So they have sensors, artificially intelligent. They just put it at the front of their screen. So once you are driving through the toll gates, that
It catches
sensor,
him.
yeah, communicates with the toll gate, and the money will just get deducted from your account. And automatically, towards the end of the day, they will tell you how many toll gates you passed through and how much was deducted from your account that day. And when I looked at how amazing that technology was, I was looking back at Nigeria. I was like, do we really need all this Agbero for roads? I mean, because
You're very
because
very
it's
right.
not that these guys are not making money for the government. They are making money for the government. But I want to tell you, I want to shock you. Those Agberos and those people that obstruct things on the roads, on our highways, they are not making a fraction of what technology makes
Mm.
from people who break the law in the US, in Canada, or in other places.
Yes.
They make, like, you have almost three. I checked it online. People who break traffic laws in the United States were bringing more than $3 trillion to the government almost every single year. Every state. There are, of course, we know some states like New York, California. Those ones are Gaga people. So you're kind of you have people who break the laws more in those states in other localities, and they are bringing a lot of money, even in the hospital. I've gone to a couple of hospitals in the United States, and you see how automated the system is. The AI or the Apple Watch that you wear in your hand, you see a lot of older people who are driving cars. It's not that all of them are healthy, but because they have technology that ensures that if they are about to slump, or something, that watch they are putting on would put a call across to their personal doctor or their family doctor, automatic. They will tell you that, look, you have been driving for 2 hours, you should stop and refuel, or you should stop and do something. I've also been inside a truck where if you drive and the white lines that divide lanes on the road, if you drive on top of the white lines or when you are on the highway, your truck is going to shake. It's going to tell you, look, you are actually leaving your lane. So you have to find a way. The trucks, they have these sensors, these powerful sensors that are built into them. You have to find a way to move away from the lane that you are leaving, going to your lane. And there is a distance that you are supposed to observe between your vehicle and another vehicle. If you have been inside a Tesla, where they use do Uber, so if you are inside a Tesla, you would see that there are thousands of sensors in that car. The car will tell you the distance between your car and the next car, the distance between your side mirror and the car close to it. So technology makes life easy, makes people live longer. In fact, it makes people to be connected. So why is Africa? Yeah, why is Africa not looking at it in our communities? We are still complaining of electrical problems or road issues or insecurity problems. Why have we not leveraged on this to make our life better? It's just a reflection I want all of us to look at as Mr. Seyi have spoken so intelligently about this. And I'm going to give room for you guys here to ask questions. I have just two other questions for Mr. Seyi, because I'm pretty sure you want to have a little bit of rest. So let's open the room for questions. Maybe three questions before I end with mine. Anyone? Emeka, Joseph, Blessing, Peter, Chisom, Gabo, and so on and so forth. Any questions?
Hello, good evening.
Yeah, good evening.
Okay, my name is Omobalande.
Welcome, Omoladande.
Okay, please, I just want to ask a question as regards the Microsoft Certified Trainer. I just need a little bit of clarification on that.
Okay.
Like you said,
About how to become Microsoft certified, or about the training itself?
yes, Microsoft Certified Trainer.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. So,
Okay. Obolale, thank God, David is also one. So, so it's not something to fight again. It's something close to you. So, to be a certified trainer, you must you must have a track you're actually championing in. What do I mean? For example, if I want to be an Azure trainer, that's for example, or an M365 trainer, then I must have certification in as an admin, at least minimum as an admin. That's the first criteria. Now, there are other certifications out there called fundamental. Fundamental is just an entry to which you go into Microsoft products. But when you have an administrator, they call it MCSA. Once you're an administrator, you're an associate, they believe that you have championed for certain years on that product. Then after that, you can now go for what we call train the trainer. Train the trainer is a track by which veterans in this particular career, there are certain people that can give you that certificate. We have one called IMCT. That is the one we affiliate with. We got MCT-ICT. That one is situated in US. So they have been given the license to be able to approve you as a trainer. And good news is that by August 2nd, the last week of August in Abuja, we are actually going to run the second train the trainer track for anybody that wants to be an MCT. That is, if you are still interested, then definitely you just look up to Abuja to have that. Other places you can go to Europe, anywhere they are having MCT summits, especially in Europe and America. America always do theirs during spring. Hello?
Yeah. Well, with you.
Hello?
Yeah, I can hear you. Go ahead. Let me mute.
Okay. There is also an event that always come up in the US. That is during early March or late March. They also run the program. But for us in Africa, we're going to run it in August, last week of August. So if you are much interested, if you are still interested, please, you can contact David. David will get in contact with me. I can enlist you for that. That means it's a track. We'll pay people that will come and train us, give us the technique. And once you do that, then they will issue you a certificate which is recognized by Microsoft, and you can use it to run your, because the MCT program needs some requirement. One of the requirements is your certification. The second one is train the trainer. Yes, it's last week of August 2023. We are still working on it somewhere in Abuja.
All right. Hopefully, we'll keep in touch up to that time. And
Yeah.
we actually have the WhatsApp group. So information about these type of opportunities, we get to share them there, and hopefully
Okay.
that is it. Yeah. Thank you very much. Gabu, your hand is up.
All right. Thank you for sharing these thoughts and enlightening us about this opportunity. The question I want to ask is, I've seen people advertising tech trading. So I'm registered for a data analytics class. Some people go into product design, some go into different things. I've seen people advertise Microsoft Office or something. I don't know. Is it in any way related to this? Because they put them at par with the data analytics training, product management training, front-end development training, and the rest. So when those kind of trainings are advertised, I didn't see David advertise it, so I couldn't just ask you all the while. So when we see that kind of advert as a tech skill for Microsoft Office or something, can you, I don't know where you are aware and what does it cover?
Okay. Now, Microsoft is like he has his own world. Now, project management, IT, Scrum, and any other one that leads to strategic build up for rolling out solution, which can be Microsoft, can be any other products. It's something that in its context can be used with Microsoft or outside Microsoft. But in Microsoft product like Office now, when you go into Microsoft Office, it's now called M365. It takes you through some track that empower you to have the skill that you need as a project manager. Now, Microsoft built its product on a framework, and each framework, step by step, is the same thing you learn in IT. So, but I cannot erase the fact that for an IT person, you need those skills to be able to build yourself up in order to roll out product and ensure there is a proper engineering in ICT environment. But when it comes to the context of Microsoft product, all these skills that you have in Scrum, you have in Intellit is embedded in it. So if I have a knowledge, I am a subject matter expert in probably in Azure, it is mandatory for me to be able to roll out products that pass through project management, roll out products that I can manage from top to bottom. However, in the stream of experience, a solution person, an advocate, an architect is always streamed. Their DNA is just pertaining to the product. But a project manager, his DNA is to make sure that there is sequential process across delivery, across all these products to the customer and to the team. So you can see our DNA differ, but the focus, that's why sometimes when they put Microsoft product as part of all this project management, is because there is everything embedded in most of Microsoft products. But that does not mean that if I have the skill in the general term to be able to roll out the product as a project manager, the project now, we are doing something now. In every project we do, we try to bring in business analysts. Why? Because there is a gap between a technical person, core technical person, and someone that understands the business aspect from the customer perception. So you need somebody to bridge it. Also, a project manager must be able to be time-based in terms of timely intervention of rolling out the product from start to the end. So we can say that a Microsoft product and most of the product I roll out and training gives you all the capability to be a project manager, to be an IT person, but you cannot erase the fact that an IT person is an IT person to be able to roll out products.
Brilliant. Brilliant. Thank you very much. Gabu, did you get meaning? Did you get value?
Yes, I did.
All right.
Well,
all right.
I was trying to ask, can Microsoft Office, for example, stand alone as an IT skill, just like data analytics, project management? That's what I'm asking. Can it stand alone? So one can just say, just like I'm training to become a data analyst, somebody can say I'm training to be an expert in Microsoft Office as a tech skill.
Yes, there is. They call them MOS. MOS. It's in the ladder. It's not really recognized, because in Africa anybody can train Office, but in Europe and in America they are called Microsoft. They call them Microsoft Certified Office Specialists. They don't do any other. They just do Office. And they pay them for that. And they have a lot of joy. Their career path is full. They are also MCTs. It is recent time Microsoft is trying to separate them and tell them that they must have certain skills added to just being an Office specialist. But in Africa, why it's not very, very clear for us here is because anybody can train Office. Once you know the product, you can go to the market and say you're an IT person. But in very organized society like US and Europe, they are called professionals and they are called specialists. So you can stand alone. It's possible. But I'm just bringing reality to it from the context of Africa.
Thank you very much. Very, very clear now.
Right. Thank you so much. Peter, you want to ask a question? Okay, so while hopefully wait for Peter to come on board, there is this question that just pop out from the discussion about Microsoft. What exactly is MVP, and how did you become one? And how can anyone become one?
Okay. Well, MVP is like in every organization, they try to recognize people that have exceptional skill in trying to promote their products. Please, it's a exceptional skill to promote their products. There are people Microsoft try to onboard their adbits to. Oh, we are bringing this Office to the market. Please, MVP that are Office, what do you feel? In your own community, do you think they will look at it? What are the things we can add to this product that can make that change and that make that adoption? So Microsoft look at your track record for a year. How are you promoting their product? You must be technically skilled, you must be socially skilled, and you must be able to be a community lead in order to have this. So fortunate for me, by His grace, I was seen like that. Then there were about few of them in Africa. And I was given the privilege to apply, and I was chosen because it takes some process. The product team will review you. They have what we call community program managers, called MVP program manager. They review you. Then there are some top people that also review you, Microsoft, from that community side. And once they can approve you, they award you. It's an award. They award you to be an MC, and they do it every year. So it's not that you have an MVP now and you go and sit down. No, they take it from you. They give it to another person that is doing the same thing you are doing in the community. So we can have as many MVP because we have so many products that Microsoft is rolling out. It's just for you to know where you champion in. And once you know that, you now be socially available, socially known for that product. It can be by writing blog, it can be by speaking in conferences, it can be by organizing such conferences that relate to that product you are. Most people lose out because they do so many things at the same time. You must be specific. If you want to be on Power Platform, be on Power Platform. If you want to be on Azure, be on Azure. Once Microsoft recognize what you are doing to that track, they award you that. So how do you get to be known by Microsoft? Someone that is a registered or already an awarded MVP will nominate you. In our own days, we can nominate ourselves. Once you go to the portal and you know you are exceptionally good, you nominate yourself. But now they want someone from the community to nominate you to show that they have seen your preference and they want to award. They want Microsoft to award you with that award.
Oh, okay. Hopefully, I know I want to beg you because I am really interested in getting this
Okay.
for myself. So I'm going to reach out hopefully quite soon enough when you get settled, and let's see from my own end how I can push the frontier. I love Microsoft because
Yeah.
I was taking a course on inclusion and disability some time ago, and
Oh,
especially
there are
that,
little people in that category as MVP. You can be a very good one if you can do more on that track. They are awarding them MVP on that track. Yeah.
because I am actually on presently on that track. I work with the disability community. I've worked with children who are differently able. So even when I was at Michigan, I was always trying to connect with professors, child psychologists, and people who work with children and young people that have one or two challenges from autism to, and then I asked myself the question, how can we make technology? Because I know how beautiful this thing is. How can we make technology accessible to people like this? My roommate in Washington was blind, a blind or what is it? He had visually challenge, and I could see how this guy was actually. I don't want to use the word enjoying himself, but this guy was not having half of the problems he had in the US compared to when he was in his home country. Rwanda is better than Nigeria in terms of infrastructure anyway. But then, when it comes to how accessible are places like the banks, how accessible is the certain computer software, I could literally see that he can walk by himself to the pool. He can walk by himself to the mall. I was opposite our apartment. He could do literally a couple of things by himself because all he needs is just to key into whether it's his phone, whether there's an app that only works in the US because I've never used that app for visually impaired. And they had this stick that was actually telling them things.
Yes.
And I looked at it and I was like, do you know how many people in my community have this challenge, but they can't go to school, they can't take a walk to anywhere because there is nothing that enables, there's nothing that enables them to do so. And the more I went into this, the more I discovered, look, I need to be in an environment and talk about the possibility of this really happening. So thank you so much for bringing that up.
We can even take this offline. Maybe we can make some connects. If you're somebody that is a director, is passionate about Africa, maybe I can connect you with her and let's see whether what you are doing can be amplified through her. Something, because I had that conversation, but I just need to, it's not a director. I have to track her down to have that conversation that we can take it offline. Yeah.
Oh, I would really appreciate that to say that's why opportunities like this, I don't take them for granted. Thank you very much. Peter, I still see your hand is up. Peter, you will have to unmute except you type the question. Okay, so I have two more questions before we call it a day, and hopefully we can pray you have a beautiful night rest day. Now, if we're looking at your profile, what exactly does it mean to be solutions focused? And now we're looking at what key elements must all of us on this call begin to look at when we want to develop innovative solutions. Now we are looking at Africa, for instance.
Yeah. Now, over the years, I told you I started very good. I went through apprenticeship, getting to know computer, developing front page, HTML file. Then I later migrated into building infrastructure. And now one thing I noticed is that we are good in skilling ourselves to the knowledge, but we are very quick in discarding the application to solving problem within our environment. Now, I went to Abuja, where a playbook we do everywhere. We did a boot camp in Abuja, I think early this year. And I do this grassroots every month where I bring people, connect, mentor with people. And we went to Abuja and we did that boot camp. And we allowed everybody to come in, young, old, single, people coming, that IT can onboard anybody. Now, our catch is not just about shipping this knowledge, telling them what they put. It's like, what is in context? So at the peak of the third day, we now told them, look inward. In your home, how do you solve grocery problem? Children, kids were there. How do you help your dad using Power Apps to be able to have an app, and daddy and mommy can be anywhere and they will know what they will buy in the market without calling themselves, because there's a process where Power App can list all the grocery, what is needed, what is going down, and they can capture it through picture. And when we landed it, the shocker is that we noticed that out of the bunch of people that came out, 2 kids, the same parents, one is Darasini, one is Lolade, one is 13, one is 11. They presented what we call business intelligence that can suit what their parents can use in their home and in any business circle. And they won the 2nd and 3rd prize. So wow. It brings me to that. When you are trying to ship out products, having summits, don't just focus on the product. Open the eyes of the attendees to see that problem is everywhere. And if one person can solve one problem, amplify it, become a startup, you know how many ripple of that effect can go across Nigeria. There's a lot of problem in this country. There's a lot of people with that potential to change it. We just need exposure. When we have that, sometimes it might not be money. Once you are able to onboard yourself to solve problem, you can get there and people can finance it properly. Although we have not got to the point of amplifying in terms of financing, getting funds, but first of all, the first step is first look at the product. Don't look at the product as a skill you hold and become someone that is streamlined to a point. Look at it as a skill you hold to be able to change the immediate problem that you are having, even in your own home, in your establishment, and in the community.
Thank you. I'm so happy that we recorded this meeting, because some things are going to be, I'm going to have to replay them for my own private understanding and appreciation, even much more than this call today. I'm going to share it with those of you who are listening as well. So thank you very much, sir. And one last question. The health tech is, we've been having this training, not just in data analytics, in software engineering, but of recent we launched our Community Today initiative, and this was as a result of one of the meetings I was privileged to have with Secretary of State Anthony Blinken. It was a tough one to be selected for that private meeting with him in Washington, D.C. And I got the support of the Africans in diaspora, some Africans in diaspora, to launch that initiative. Basically, what we do is we have people who can afford the training, and we arrange a portfolio so that we take this training to the vulnerable population. And they get to learn most of this for free. So different organizations have signed up, and we are trying to make sure that we reach a lot more persons. We don't want young people. I'm always proud to know that back then in Calabar, because that's where I grew up, left when I was 15, one teacher called me. I was a sanitary prefect. I will never forget that man, even though I've forgotten his name. But I'll never forget that there was a teacher who called me and told me, look, guy, Microsoft was building a new structure in our school, one of the nicest and most furnished structure, the first ever, I think, in Calabar at the time. And everybody, all these those days, you see all these big boys coming from Lagos, they'll be carrying big bag with laptop. Those of us where they village, those of us where they village now, when we see a computer, normally a computer in our mind was that big monitor with keyboard, and you'll be hearing people will be hitting it, crack, 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 But then to see these guys coming in from Lagos with their laptops, those days we had really big laptops and their bags, and then they opened them. I was really enthralled by that. I was encouraged by that teacher of mine who said, "Look, you are not going to lose anything. Leave your physics class and your biz class, and when once you have a little time, go to these guys and learn." And I did it hesitantly, really, because I was like, what am I going to use sitting down in front of the television? What is it going to do for me? But I came to love it. I later enrolled for a help desk programming course. After that, I became better at typing. My typing speed improved, moved from 15 to 30 words per minute, and then to 60. I never knew that when I went to university that I was going to be making a lot of money by helping people understand what the computer is. Because I had people who were still paying other people money to, type their project for them, do this one for them, open Microsoft for them, paste this document. And then I would just go there and tell them, look, I can do this thing. Just come and pay me, or feed me for a week, or give me transport. I was so happy that my financial status at the time as a student improved simply because somebody encouraged me to take a course that I didn't even pay money for. So when I remember how that journey changed my life, I'm pushing forward and building a community. We're building a community where other people can also experience the same transformation as well. So that is why I'm going to be asking this last question, because problem solving, this was my own way of solving a problem. But for many people who are listening to this call, we teach problem solving as one of the topics on that health lesson. How do you address problems? Looking at your experience from Microsoft, from your own company, and from your travels, how do you address problems when they come to your table?
Thank you, David. I think the first thing I do is to recognize there's a problem. Now, when I put myself in that euphoria, I'll be able to try to look out of the box. Now, the knowledge I have in Microsoft, what can it do? What extra can I add in order to achieve it? Now, problem, as you said, is unique to everybody. Now, the way you look at problem in your own context might be different the way Mr. Madam Omolale, sorry, I mentioned your name, looked at the problem. So we must now be able to look at problem from the perception of what can I do to make it work? Recognize it. The second step, what can I do to make it work? Now, we are all technically savvy by the virtue of what we are doing now, maybe training on data science and the rest. And you might also go into an establishment, and that establishment have a unique problem. You have to always look out of the box to make yourself stand out, not just about the skill you have, but the ability to communicate the skill is the third thing. Because you might have the ability to recognize it, to know what to do, but if you don't communicate properly, you lose out. That's why I said there was a gap. People were able to have this knowledge in audit, but they cannot communicate it. And that brought about the grassroots movement I have, and so many user groups we created over the years that is running over 10,000 of users coming together every week in and out to learn and communicate and solve immediate problems. So I see those three as one of, there are a lot of things you can do, but those three to me, can help you to move above the water.
Thank you very much. And I really love this section, and I appreciate the time and the energy and the experience you brought to the table. It's been such an amazing pleasure to have you. And I see Obo, Frank, I see your question on the chat. Can I combine Scrum Master and data analyst together? Well, that will be totally left for you. The one of our trainers who is teaching Python is actually also a Scrum Master. He's doing absolutely it. So anything that gives you a leverage, anything that makes you want to not just stand out, but improve upon the solutions you are offering to businesses and different companies, I encourage you personally to go right ahead and do it. But let it be on the same line. For instance, Scrum Master, data analysis, they are all solving problems, right? But you cannot come and ask me, can I combine cooking egusi and data analysis or data or Scrum? Or you want to cook amala? You're asking me if you can combine that. I mean, they are kind of like parallel kind of career paths, really. So anything at all that makes you want to do that, provide solutions better, that's good and fine. So I'm pretty sure that we've learned everything today. If you are still on this call, please, can you type thank you to our host on the chat box? Let him see your name. Baba Tunde, thank you so much. We want to see people telling our host thank you. Yeah, Julian, thank you. Alodeje, thank you. That message is a private one. Put it in public. Thank you. All right. Thank you so much, sir. We want to allow our host to have any final words for us, sir? Or is there any question you think you would have loved me to ask I didn't ask?
Well, out of the now, community spirit is something that is sometimes we need more people to eat, not as what you are doing. Because we need to bring more people to start using their network to make change in terms of bringing about definitely rapid change in Africa. And when we do that, we see that technology can change even the story of Africa in the long run.
Thank you very much. That's powerful. Building communities and changing the narrative of the African continent in the long run. And with that, I would love to say one final thank you, Oluwaseyi. It's been so much a pleasure. And I hope you actually have a beautiful night rest. Sorry about the stress when you're coming into the country. Thank you for allowing yourself to be here today, and we really appreciate it. We'll keep in touch. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Thank you very much for having me, and I'm very grateful.